Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Curious Minds with Hemangini. In previous video, I have explained about the valency and how can we determine valency by valence electrons. So we know that valency is the combining capacity of any element, right? So in this video, we will see how one element can combine with other element to form a compound. Now, the atom of any element always try to become stable by donating electrons, by gaining electrons or by sharing electrons, and always try to follow octet rule. So what is octet rule? We have to see the electronic configuration of noble gases to understand octet rule. So let's see that first. So let's see electronic configuration of all the noble gases one by one. First is helium, then neon, then argon, then krypton, and then xenon. Now you must have observed that in the last shell, that the valence shell, electrons are 8. That means all the noble gases follow octet rule, and because of that they are already in the stable form except helium. Helium has 2 electrons in the first shell. That means helium follows duplet rule. Okay, helium follows duplet rule and helium is also in the stable form, and valency of all the noble gases is always 0 because they do not take part in any chemical reaction, they do not form any compound, and because of that all the noble gases are also known as inert gases. Now all other elements always try to achieve electronic configuration of the nearest noble gas so that they can become stable. So they always try to follow octet rule. Okay, now let's move on to the periodic table. In the given periodic table, elements which are located on the left hand side are metals and elements which are located on the right hand side are non-metals. Now metals always try to donate electrons because they have mostly 1, 2 or 3 electrons in their outermost shell, whereas non-metals always try to gain electron from the metals because they have mostly 5, 6 or 7 electrons in their outermost shell, that is valence shell. Now when metals donate electrons, they become positively charged ions, and when non-metals accept electrons, they become negatively charged ions. Let's take an example of sodium. Sodium is a metal, everybody knows that, right? Now the outermost shell, sodium has 1 electron. So sodium, to follow or to satisfy octet rule, sodium will donate 1 electron from its outermost shell. So when sodium will donate 1 electron, it will become positively charged ion. It will become positively charged ion. Now after donating 1 electron, the electronic configuration of sodium ion will be 2,8. Let's take an example of magnesium. Magnesium has 2 electrons in its outermost shell. Magnesium will donate 2 electrons from its outermost shell and will become positively charged ion. Okay, so Mg2+. Now the electronic configuration of magnesium will be 2,8. Now both the metals are following the electronic configuration of neon. Okay, neon has 2,8. So I told you that all the elements always try to achieve octet rule by following the electronic configuration of nearest noble gas. Let's take an example of chlorine, which is non-metal. Now chlorine has 7 electrons in its outermost shell. Okay, so what is the electronic configuration of chlorine? 2,8, 7. Now chlorine will either donate or accept 1 electron. Donate 7 electron or accept 1 electron. But chlorine will not donate 7 electron because it is difficult to donate 7 electrons, but it is very easy to accept 1 electron, right? So chlorine will accept 1 electron from the metal and will become negatively charged ion. Chlorine will become negatively charged ion. So I told you metals donate electrons, become positively charged ions, and non-metals accept electrons and will become negatively charged ions. Okay? Let's see compound formation of sodium chloride. As I told you, sodium has 1 electron in its valence shell, whereas chlorine has 7 electrons in its valence shell. So sodium will donate 1 electron and chlorine will accept 1 electron. Sodium will become positively charged ion, chlorine will become negatively charged ion because it accepts the electron from sodium. So this way sodium chloride will be formed. Now let's take one more example of magnesium oxide. Now magnesium has 2 electrons in its outermost shell, whereas oxygen has 6 electrons in its outermost shell. So magnesium will donate 2 electrons, will become positively charged ion, and oxygen will accept 2 electrons and will become negatively charged ion. Okay, compound of magnesium oxide will be formed. This way, most of the metals lose electrons from its valence shell or outermost shell and become stable. However, there are some exceptions. In certain metals, they not only donate electrons from its outermost shell, but from the before outermost shell, that is penultimate shell. The shell which is outermost is known as ultimate shell, and the shell which is before ultimate shell is called as penultimate shell. So metals lose electrons from the outermost shell as well as from the penultimate shell. These type of elements show variable valency. Okay, so what is variable valency? Let's see that first. Some metals and non-metals have more than one valency or different combining capacity. They can combine with other element by more than one way to form a compound. So this type of elements show variable valency. Let's see few examples of metals that show variable valency. First is iron. Iron has 2 and 3, 2 different valencies, 2 different combining capacity. So the ions will be formed Fe2 plus, Fe3 plus. And now there is a naming method also. When the valency is lower, okay, any elements or any metal has lower valency, we add OUS as suffix, and when the higher valency, we add IC as suffix. So first, the valency of iron, the lower valency is 2, that means ferrous we will say, and the higher valency is 3, that means ferric. Now there is a new method of naming elements also, that is iron 2 or iron 3. This 2 and 3 means the valency. 2 valency and 3 valency. Positive means donating electrons. Okay. Copper, 2 valencies, 1 and 2. Cu1 plus, Cu2 plus. Cuprous means lower valency, and cupric means higher valency of copper. Copper 1, copper 2. 1 is the valency, 2 is the valency. Mercury, 1 and 2. Hg plus 1, Hg2 plus. Mercurous, mercuric, lower valency, higher valency. Mercury 1, mercury 2. Next, tin, 2 and 4. Sn2 plus, Sn4 plus. The name stannous, stannic. Tin 2, tin 4. Lead, 2 and 4. Pb2 plus, Pb4 plus. Plumbous, plumbic, lead 2, lead 4. Let's see more examples of metals showing variable valency. Silver, valency 1 and 2, Ag1 plus, Ag2 plus, argentus, argentic, silver 1, silver 2. Gold, 1 and 3, Au1 plus, Au3 plus, aurous, auric, gold 1, gold 3. Platinum, 2, 4, Pt2 plus, Pt4 plus, platinous, platinic, platinum 2, platinum 4. Now, some non-metals also show variable valency, such as nitrogen, sulfur, phosphorus. Nitrogen has 3 and 5 valency, sulfur has 2, 4, 6, and phosphorus has 3 and 5 valency. This way, many elements, like most of the elements, share their electron, donate their electron, or gain electrons from the outermost shell. But there are some exceptions of metals and non-metals shows variable valency. I hope this topic is clear. If you have understood this topic, please like, share and subscribe to Curious Minds with Hemangini. Thank you, children.